you're gonna get more power when you train with resistance bands. I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of exercises that you can do that are gonna increase the speed and the power, the total impact of all your strikes, whether it's a palm strike or an elbow strike, a punch, a kick, if you're using a self-defense tool like a cane or a collie stick or something like that. So I want you to see first, before we get started, that you have different size resistance bands. Now there are different kinds of bands that you can get. I've got a lot of different ones on the wall. There's the TheraBand, which is that thin one that the therapists use. You may have seen those. You can tie those to make a loop, but these are loop style resistance bands. I put a link below if you want to see more information on them. They're very inexpensive. You can buy a set. Now this is not a set. These are just from different places that I've accumulated over the years. The thicker it is, the more resistance you're gonna have. I'm gonna use something like this tied or anchored to something that doesn't move. Like I'll show you with the floor bag here in a second. And I'm gonna use that to like run against and have some more resistance. This is gonna be able to stop my whole body from moving. So something thick like this, you're not gonna be able to do some of the other exercises. This band, the thinnest band by width, is gonna be the easiest one, but this is a good starting place for a lot of people, especially if you want one band or you only have the money to invest in one band. Go with the smaller first, and then you can always increase the resistance by going slower and doing more repetitions. But I'm gonna show you these. Yeah, Troy says his senior drill instructor used to have you do these with push-ups. I'm gonna show you how to do them with push-ups standing and then on the ground to make them better. Alita, it's good to see you. It's good to see everybody else here. Thank you for being here. Please give me the thumbs up if you like this type of training to increase the power of your knockout strike. I want you to hit them harder for self-defense. And I was working with somebody yesterday. He's been working here for just a while, a few months, but I've already seen, and he's a much older gentleman, he's already showing more muscle, more strength, more speed, more power, and it's just a little bit every day that adds up really fast. You're gonna get very strong. You're gonna be able to defend yourself. So I'm gonna show you my favorite exercise, warm-up exercise that I'd like you to try using. I'm gonna use this medium weight band first and try to back up enough so you can see it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move the camera, so if you need to close your eyes, do that so you don't get nauseous. I always like to give you a warning because it's pretty disconcerting when the camera goes up and down. So you're gonna stand on the band. And I usually do this barefooted, but I've got a class in a few minutes, so I've got my shoes on. I'm gonna start with my palms facing down. I've got the band on each foot, and I'm gonna bend my elbows and put them inside the band. And I want you to push your hips back, almost like you're sitting down into a chair. As you go down, the resistance gets lighter, and then you're gonna stand and almost explode. And it's this exploding motion that's gonna start to build power in your knockout punch, power in your legs so that you can kick through his chest for self-defense. But I want you to hit him harder for self-defense. You're just going down and up. This is gonna start to get your heart rate up. It's gonna raise it up pretty quickly because you're using your entire body. There's a little pause. I want you to pause here and then think all one motion, explode, stand and pop. And that's where I want you to start your workout. Do that for 30 seconds. We're going time under tension instead of repetitions. You don't have to count. Just put a timer on. I use my watch, or you can use your phone. Hello, Ian. It's good to see you. Ian's in the UK. For those of you asking about the hurricane, it's way north of us. We didn't see any of it. I'm going to switch over to this band, and I'm going to wrap it on the outside of your hand there. You're going to go over your back. And some people will do it under their arms. I like to do it over the arms. Either way is fine. It's just a personal preference thing. Now from here, one thing you need to know is these sometimes will slip up and smack you in the back of the head or in the back of the neck. I never mind when that happens. I just reset it. If that bothers you, you might want to stick it under your arms. But either way, it's not going to kill you. It might just wake you up a little bit. So from here, again, I want you to start in a position where you're kind of at rest, and I want you to push, explode on the way out, and then slowly back in. We're trying to do a couple things here. I want to build power for my palm strike, power for the punch. I also want to activate more quick twitch muscle fiber. That's what I want you to do. And you're just gonna do this every time with a breath. Good question. Enrique Chong, Mendez, I think he said, question is there a risk that they break? Yes, they do break, but I haven't had one break until I've used it for at least a few years and for thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands probably, of repetitions, both for myself and with my students. And when they break, it's not what you think. It's not like a rubber band breaking and it comes back and smacks you. Usually it just goes, and then it just loses its resistance. So it doesn't give you there's no injury. I've never seen an injury from it. The only thing is if it's anchored and you're leaning back against it and it breaks, you might stumble back. So if that's the case, you'll just have to be able to catch yourself. But I've never had one break and come back and smack me. I have had them break many times though. But again, I've had this green band now for over 2 years and use it all the time. And this probably won't break for another couple years. Exhale. The black one here, I've had for at least 5 or 6 years. It's got hundreds of thousands of reps in it, and it's still going strong. I used to have purple. If you've watched these videos, you've seen the purple one, and that's gone. Now that's one way that I want you to do it. The next way, after you rest for about 30 seconds, is pushing down. And so you're gonna activate the lower part of your chest, and this is gonna help you get up out of a chair. This is gonna help you push somebody off of you. If you know how to sprawl, move your feet back. If somebody tries to tackle you, you use all those muscles there. You're also gonna feel this in your triceps and in your shoulders. In your stomach, you should be pulling it up and in, keep it tight. Hello, Matthew, it's good to see you. But I want you to build knockout power. I want you to hit them harder for self-defense, and you're gonna get power. You're gonna realize when you start to use these, that these resistance bands build power in a very short period of time, if you do just a little bit every day. Now, the third way you can do it is pushing up. And when you're pushing up, you're hitting the top of your chest, the muscle fibers up here. I like to think of if I'm in a chair, somebody's jumping on top of me, I'm pushing them off, or I'm trying to get up off the ground, somebody's coming in, I want to be able to push up and away. Also, uppercut, knock him out, smash him in his jaw for self-defense. So from here, just coming up for 30 seconds. Now you can also, one of the ways I like to use these is isolation. You can do one hand at a time. You can do one hand over and over at a time. Really load up that tricep and that chest on one side, and then the other side. I like to do versions. You can do something called 21, where you do 7 like this, and then 7 when you bring them in, and then 7 with one hand and 7 with the other hand. So a total of 21 repetitions, well, with the extra 7, but all together on one side, really building power. The next way you can use this, back to the leg, is you're going to loop it on the side. You can either hold here in the loop, or depending on how long it is, or you can hold it here. Air Guns Anonymous, good to see you from California. I love it. California is one of the most beautiful places that I go there a lot. Unfortunately, there are some ridiculous regulations and laws. Now, the key here, it's under my front foot, my back leg is far back, and I'm just gonna bend the front knee and then explode. The key to these resistance bands is the explosion when we're talking about hit them harder for self-defense, building stopping power, knockout power in your strikes. You want to practice slow and then fast. Slow when you bring it in, fast when you push away. I'm gonna do that on one leg for about 30 seconds, rest, and then do it on the other one. Yeah, California, there's no part of California other than the open air markets where they're, you know what I mean. California, the land itself is beautiful. A lot of the architecture, San Francisco, gorgeous, right? San Diego, beautiful. A lot of the older cities up north, so much beauty in California. So I'm gonna switch over to the black band, and I'm gonna show you under one foot and on the same side of your body. So that's my right foot and my right hand. I'm gonna have you bring it to here so that your elbow is on the inside of your band, and I'm gonna push up. And so this is like a one-arm dumbbell raise, like a military press, but you're keeping it in the inner side, the the center of your body, center line, that's the word I'm looking for. You're gonna go center line of your body, and again, fast, resisted, slow, fast and slow. So you're exploding up. Alita, thank you so much for that gift. Up and down. The super chats, the super stickers, and the super thanks all help me pay the bills. I'm still catching up from an extremely slow summer. So I appreciate all the help you guys give all the time. And again, you're going for 30 seconds or as much as you can. If it's too heavy for 30 seconds, when you come back to it, if you have a lighter band, switch to the lighter band. And I'm not going to use the lighter band that I have for very much because I've just been doing it for so long that I've outgrown it. But we do use that. We use that a lot depending on the exercise and the student. So here, the key is you don't want to injure yourself. And if all you buy is a super thick band because you're super strong, you're almost not going to be able to use this for anything. I will show you in a minute how you're going to use it. But start with a smaller band first. It's kind of like kettlebells. People go too heavy at the beginning, or Indian clubs. They figure because they're strong they should be heavier. But you always want to go light first and make up for it by slowing the motion down and then doing more repetitions. And always exhale, because you want to get that breath, right? When you hit them, palm strike, elbow, this fast expulsion of your air. It's like the kiai or kiap, depending on the style of martial arts you do. But it's that sound that martial artists make. And now tennis players, some boxers, make that sound. And what's happening is you're squeezing the abdomen and the diaphragm is coming up and engaging, it's flexing to push the air out. And when that happens, as you're turning through your spine, it almost acts like a whip. So that exhale of energy, you want to condition your body so that every time you hit something, you're not just hitting with your palm, you're not just hitting with your hand, you're hitting with your entire body, and that air locks the body together, gets the upper body and the lower body tied together. That's why you should do a lot of planks, by the way. Planks engage the core and get your body tied together. But when you do this exercise and you're breathing at the same time, then later when you throw a punch, you throw an elbow, you're gonna punch through his spine into the back of him for self-defense. You're gonna hit him so much harder because you've learned how to add the breath into the motion. So don't neglect the motion. Now the next thing you're gonna do is step on your band, kind of like where we started when we were pressing. And you can do multiple sets of these. You don't have to do just one set and done. I'll usually do 4 or 5 sets of each exercise. And then, again, I don't count the number of times I do it, don't count the reps, count the time. Your palm is down, your band is in all 4 fingers and your thumb, and you're going to squeeze at the top. And your exhale. Now, you can have your palms this way, you can have your palms this way. Oh, hello Andy, it's good to see you. Either way is right. If you do with palms down, you're going to get a wider bicep, a little bit stronger, a little bit wider here. And these muscles, these are your punching muscles right here. These are your blocking muscles. These are the muscles that hold those self-defense tools. These muscles are going to activate when you have your palm facing down. When you have your palm facing down and then you squeeze on the way up, hold it at the top for a second, slow down, exhale fast. And you do it this way. You need more resistance, spread your feet out. And you want to go for 30 seconds. Like I said, if it's too light, go a little bit longer. Or slow this part down. Instead of going down on the count of 4, go down on the count of 8. And what's going to happen is when you hold it up here, the muscle's going to flood, or the blood's going to flood in there, and it's actually going to increase the size and the strength and the power in that muscle. And then when you need to, all boxing punches, all palm strikes, all strikes with your hand have this part where it retreats and comes back and guards your face. So you strike and then you get it back. But also that whipping motion out and back, the pulling back is what really creates most of the power. And that's done mostly by your bicep. So doing this explode and hold is going to give you a lot more power. Now I'm going to show you how to train the tricep real quick. And this is where you might want to anchor against the wall I anchor on the top of this punching bag, and then I use my other arm to brace. So you use this arm, get in a good stance, one foot in front of the other one, and you're holding palm down. See how the thumb is there? And you're gonna keep this elbow tight to your body, and you're gonna push down like this. Serpenta says, thanks for the exercises. It's my pleasure. Thank you for working out with me. I really appreciate you guys being here. You're gonna push and hold, slow on the way in. Push and hold, slow on the way back. Exhale. By the way, when you exhale hard, it forces you to breathe in. So you're gonna get more oxygen in the blood. It's gonna go into your brain. You're gonna be more focused. You're gonna be more calm. You're gonna become a better version of yourself, all by this breathing. Andy asked, how is the weather here? As some of you know, I'm in Florida, but we're all the way south. So we're south of the hurricane that's hitting right now in Tampa, I think. It's supposed to go through the state. Interestingly though, I've been hearing that it might curve around once it gets back out in the Atlantic after it goes through Georgia and South Carolina. It might swing back down this way and hit us again. Just the nature of weather, right? Someone asked me the other day why it's been so hot, and I thought about this. I noticed that like the weather people, like there's a lot of programming, right, where they want us to believe it's hotter than it's ever been. And then the people you start talking to, everybody's like, oh, I can't remember it being this hot. Someone said that to me the other day. Oh, I've never been this hot, but before, have you? And I'm thinking, yeah, a lot. There have been a lot of times in the desert, in the swamp, especially in the swamps, there's been a lot hotter than it's been for me recently. So you're going to do 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other side. I don't know about all this global stuff, global warming or whatever. I'm going to lower the camera this time. I'm going to change the angle, so hold on. I want you to see how I have it anchored here, because I want you to do one more exercise, and this is for your chest. I'm going to bring the camera back up. And from here, your arm is extended. You want to step away from the bag. You're perpendicular to your anchor. So however you want to anchor it. You can anchor this around a pole. You can anchor it around something that's not going to move, right? And you'll know what that is. You'll find a place in your house or wherever you have to work out. They're great anchors if you look for them, right? So from here, I'm going to bring this across my body. Anytime you bring your hand across your body, you're activating all the muscle fibers here. Now, depending on the angle, if you're going from here to here, you're going to work on the upper part of your chest. If you're going from here down to here, you're working on the lower part. And if you go from here to here, you're just really working on the inside, the whole chest, and especially the inside. So from here to here. Andy said, do I add weight training to your workouts? I do when I have time. I go to the gym, but these days with working 12 hours a day, there's just no time. So maybe like this past weekend, I had a chance to go to the gym for an hour, and I really go because it's just a change of scenery. I get a better workout with the bands and with my kettlebells and with some dumbbells here, just doing highly focused exercise. And I don't work out for looks. I work out to knock somebody out, honestly. My whole purpose for working out is so that if I had to protect my wife, my kids, I could hit with the most power that I can. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your wishes that we're safe down here. Everything's great. But that's how I measure my workout. So what can I do? I don't need to get massive. I was born big, right? I don't need to get big. I don't need to get super ripped and cut. I just need to be able to sprint, to pick up my kids and get them out of there, or someone's touching somebody they shouldn't be touching, or hurting somebody, or about to hurt somebody. I need to be able to close the distance as quickly as possible, use violence of action, hit as hard and as fast as I can for self-defense to end something before I lose something that's important to me. My dignity, my freedom, my life, or especially the lives or the dignity or the freedom or the health of one of the people that I care about. And that's been my thinking for working out for as long as there was a small period of time, I think back in high school, when I cared about how I looked to work out. Now it's all about what can I do with this? How can I use this? Troy said the great thing about this is that you can carry this wherever you go. I've got a set of these at my other job, and I have, I teach classes, and so in between classes, I now have a pull-up bar because I'm teaching cadet corps. So we're doing pull-ups all the time. I do a lot of push-ups. And then I have these bands for the other parts of the body that I can't exercise with the pull-ups and the push-ups. So from here, on this one, the first one I want you to do is come up and across, because so many times you neglect this upper part of the chest. I'm not trying to flex too much, but I want you to see that the muscles up there really get strong. Andy asked what kind of bands I'm using. They're called resistance bands. I put a link below. It's the first link. If you want to go, it's on Amazon. You can see about what they cost, what they're, what they're made of or whatever. There's a description in there. But you can also find these a lot at like TJ Maxx or Home Goods if you're here in the United States. Discount stores usually have things like these. You just have to look near the counter or back in the men's clothing section. There's usually, like workout gear, and they're very inexpensive. But for like 12 bucks, you can have a home gym or put it in your backpack. You can have a gym on the go. I travel with these. I've got a set in the car. They come in so handy in so many different ways. But you're just coming up and across the body. And again, you want to do that time under tension. I'll show you. I'll turn around the other way. You can see that I'm losing my hair in the back. Someone pointed that out to me recently, which I thought was kind of funny. But that's good. That means you're paying attention. But I'm coming up and across. And again, the opposite hand, if this is your center line, comes through the center line so that you bring your hand up and through the center line. And when you do this, you're going to feel all this muscle activation in here. Now this, boom, all these punches that you're going to do for self-defense, all these elbow strikes are using these muscles in here, the muscles in your shoulder, the muscles in your back. And so these are really good exercises for that. Speaking of the back, you're going to step with one foot in front of the other one. That's your left foot. This is your right hand, so it's the opposite. And you're going to turn through your spine. And as you turn, get that other hand up, make good practice of keeping your guard up. You're going to rip and hold. So you're pulling, and you're going to hold here, and you're going to squeeze right here. Yeah, Andy says, looks like I have a well-equipped studio. It's tiny. This is 900 square feet. The one I had in Ohio was 12,500 square feet, 5 classrooms. We had everything you could imagine. But we didn't use everything. Here, I have very little, but we use everything. I learned over running a martial arts school for 30 years what you really need. So when we started down here, when I started over, I only went for the stuff. And since then, there's probably a good 20% that I don't use. So if I had to restart again, which I hope I don't have to, then there's 20% that I wouldn't add this third time. But you learn that as you get old. So you pull and hold, and you're gonna feel this activation in your lats and the back muscles, and then your bicep. And then you switch. And then you're also getting it in your obliques or your side abdominals, your abdominal muscle. You want to squeeze that and then add that breath and hold. And you're going to be pushing off of the floor. So you're literally, with the bands, you work out every muscle from the bottom of your foot to the top of your head. Yeah, Andy asks, I can show you real quick. You can see the whole studio. I can do it all from here. Front door, you can see the medicine balls on the ground. I use those with the kids and the adults. There's a TV up in the front that I use that shows the videos to people walking by. And then there's the TV. I do the live Zoom. I do a lot of live classes with people. I do private lessons one-on-one. If you're interested in that, send me an email, pasquinelli@hotmail.com. And I'm starting a 6-week course on the cane. If you're interested, go from 0 to hero. Somebody who doesn't know how to use the cane, or maybe you know a lot of things but you want to get better, we'll meet once a week. It'll be a live workout. We'll do it on this TV. There's the back, and there's the bathrooms back there. You can see some clothes hanging. There's just storage back there, and then all the weapons in the corner. A couple more bags, some sparring gear, lots of jump ropes, and some more canes. So super simple. Yeah, Andy says it looks cozy. It is cozy. That's the thing about the real estate down here. Real estate, I pay $1,000 more for 900 square feet in rent than I paid for my mortgage in Ohio for 12,500 two-story building with massive amounts of parking and a nice green space in the back. So that's just the difference in, as someone explained to me when I came down here, no one's retiring and moving to Dayton, Ohio. They're all coming down this way, and they all seem to have money. Barbara asked, how do you trip somebody? I'm assuming you mean with your foot. One of the best ways that you can do that, make sure you're in a better position, one foot's in front of the other one. As they come into you, you're gonna take a small step to the side, moving your left foot first. If your left foot's forward, you're gonna go left, right, stepping to the side. As you step, you take that right foot, and you can see it in the mirror, and you just use the bottom of your foot. This is called an elliptical kick. Your foot comes up, and your knees bent, turning out, and you just put it right there in his shin, or the top of his foot. So you're here, you move to the side. Notice your hands are up and open. That way you can take hold of him, and then you sweep your foot as he goes by, and he'll go flying into, in this case, the mirrors, and he'll break the mirrors. And those are expensive. I was fortunate enough when I released this space, the mirrors were already on the wall. All right, I want to show you one more because I want you to have knockout speed and power in your punch. And this is one of the best ones that you'll do for that. And I'm going to start in your left hand. You can do left or right, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you, oh yeah, Dee Dee, where do you live in Ohio? So you have two exercises here I'm going to show you. One is pulling it here. Yeah, pulling of those, Andy says, a reverse elbow. One of the best ways to knock somebody out. He's standing right behind you. You see him over over your shoulder. You get your hands up first. Hey, you're too close, and then you step in and you smash with the back of the elbow into his jaw, and the turning of your body and stepping in. It's going to. I don't care how big he is and how big you are. You're going to generate a lot of knockout power. You'll knock most people out with that reverse elbow, just stepping in for self-defense. All right, so you're here. Niles, Ohio. Yeah, Youngstown. So Dayton and Youngstown are similar. Youngstown's more steel, Dayton's more auto, but they're both industries have been gone for a long time. Auto, oil, steel. Hello, Sensei Emmett, it's good to see you. So you have this is the bicep, right? So this is a triphasic movement. You're doing pull, turn, and punch. So you go back here, 1, 2. 1, make sure you get it pulled all the way in and your elbows tucked, and then add your punch. You don't want to bring it here and punch through here. It puts too much pressure on your shoulder. So you want to tuck it in tight, keep it on your chest, and then punch. Now, a beginner way to do this is to start with it over your elbow and just slowly, it's hung up on my watch. I don't want to mess with the watch, so I'm going to put it on the other side. So this is your right hand, your left foot's forward. You can see in the mirror, it's a good fighting stance. This hand is up. Always get this hand up. Don't put your hand down. That's lazy. You're going to get hit, and it also acts as a brake. It keeps you from turning. So from here, you're turning your shoulder. As you turn, you extend the hand. All punches, all good punches, the elbow stays in, and then you turn over, right? The elbow never comes up and punches. If you bring that elbow up, you put all the stress here on your shoulder. So you're going to get it here. Keep the elbow tight, and you turn and punch. You want to keep your hands up here. Question was, how do you protect? If someone's coming in to punch you, get this hand up, let them run into your elbow, and then strike that hand block here, strike from here, strike. You want to bring this in. You can step in and smash that through his face and then strike him. But from here, you want to get this guard up and turn. Oh, Hayes Griffith, thank you so much for that super chat, super sticker from here. As I was saying earlier, it's been a slow summer, and I really appreciate all those gifts. Now, from this side, just switch to the other side, do 30 seconds there, and rest. Now, back to that triphasic motion. Let me see if I can change the camera again. I'm going to move it. I'm going to warn you there. How do you protect if someone grabs you by the throat? Barbara asks. Barbara, I'm going to show you 2 ways. There's like a million ways, or at least 10. I'm going to show you 2 ways. One is you bring your hands close to your body and up and through his hands, and using the exhale. These motions, his hands are on your neck. Worst thing you can do is back up. If he's choking you to death and you back up, his throat, his hands are just going to crush your throat. So if you step in, the weakest part is here, his thumbs. His hands are on your, if you step in, this collarbone here, your neck, is going to open that, and it's going to take pressure off your throat. So you want to step in. It's counterintuitive. No one steps in. Everybody wants to back up. It's more natural, right? So you have to overcome your instinct. It's counterinstinctive. So if you step in, you're starting to open, your breath will come back, your hands come up. Or, and my favorite, is take a step in, and as you step in, reach between his hands. Remember, his hands are here choking your neck, and you stick your thumb right in to the soft spot. Now here's the hard thing. Your hand's gonna get caught up on his chest. You gotta lift it up so that you get a clear shot to his windpipe. Now his windpipe, Andy asked, do I do in-person training? I do a lot of that. Usually this time I have private lessons, but I didn't have anybody today, so I thought I'd work out with you. This windpipe is gonna crush on him the same amount of pressure that your windpipe will crush. I think it's like 12 pounds or something. So for a little bit of pressure, he can crush your windpipe. You can crush his windpipe for the same amount of pressure. So as he's choking you, you're gonna reach in there. And if you turn your body, as you're stepping, you're gonna relieve some of that pressure on your neck, and you stick that thumb straight into his throat, and you push as hard as you can. Exhale if you can. If you can't breathe, if you can breathe. But you're gonna stick that and extend your arm, and you get stronger by moving your whole body. You move your whole body by stepping with your foot. So you're turning your shoulders and hips. See how much, if I just do this, this is how far I have. If I turn, you can see I've just extended my reach by about 12 inches. So from here, you're gonna step and extend your reach, and you're gonna stick that straight into his throat and crush his windpipe. You can also do it with a knuckle like this. If your hands are really strong, I would pop them like this. I would pop them like this probably, real quick in the throat. But if you put this here, you're going to, yeah, since it says stick them in there and rip down if you can get in there. But I want you to breathe really fast. So I want you to stick that, but remember, you can't back up. You've got to step in and push through his throat. Now I've got to run, teach Cadet Corps. You guys have been awesome. Thanks again for those super chats. I'll see you in a little bit.